We goofed. Come down, let me explain to you what I've done. Alright, so we initially used to fill our systems with 2-liter jugs. We measured this up to the mark there was 2 liters. And we'd put 40 milliliters of each of the nutrients, part A and part B, into a 2-liter jug. That would give us our proper mix. When things got busy and our systems, as we have here in the greenhouse, require far more than a couple of liters, we measured off this bucket for 10 liters. And rather than using a syringe, as we normally would to measure out our nutrients, we decided we'll pre-measure it into little glass bottles. We'll have an A bottle and a B bottle, and then we'll have another A bottle, which would be for the tomatoes versus the lettuce. So we have 3 different types of bottles. Understanding that these have 200 milliliters or can hold 200 milliliters each, one A and one B in 10 liters, we should have our mix. Now, only recently did I discover these little bottles don't hold 200 milliliters. So we've been holding back on the nutrients a bit over the past while, as we didn't get our full 200 milliliters in the bucket for every 10 liters. So this morning I have 10 liters. I have pre-measured the nutrients using a syringe instead of throwing a bottle full in, because a bottle full is not enough. I have since then remarked these for 160 milliliters, so that's what we'll put in these from now on, and that's good for 8 liters of water. So I have another mark down on the bucket here for 8 liters, and if we're going to use the glass jars, 8 liters is what we'll put in. If we want 10 liters, we'll add another 40 milliliters of A and B after. So right now, I noticed this morning the peppers are drinking a lot, so we're just going to top them up again. I expected to get a few more days out of this. We did have a leak here a couple days ago. That's all taken care of, and the system seems to be running well again now. There we go. This little guy here is still taking its time. I've got a couple much larger jalapeno peppers in the house. I may bring one of those out and put there and take this guy back in underneath the lights for another while. We'll see. Now, I have to mix up another 10 liters to put in the reservoir for our tomatoes. They're drinking, but not as fast as the peppers. I find the peppers really drink fast. I don't know if it's the bigger leaves on them or what, but they really drink fast compared to the tomatoes. Okay, here's 10 liters for the tomatoes. As the summer goes by and these plants get bigger, we'll probably be putting 10 or even 15, 20 or even 30 extra liters in the reservoir. Now, how are things going? All right, so we've got some tomatoes coming there, a few more in here. Lots of flowers forming. We're soon going to get into going around every day and pollinating our flowers. Over on the other side of the greenhouse where our peppers are, we can see that we're getting some flowers and they're budding very nicely. Up here, soon be time for us to start pollinating these as well. We've got a couple of peppers already formed. Nice one here. That one up right here. And we can see several forming up through here. System is working very smoothly now. Almost have to do nothing with it other than give it a few nutrients every now and then. We did have a visitor again last night. I think he came from here. You can see that he's been chewing on the leaves here. So we're going to have to tie that guy back a little bit. I put a little bit of salt here. Salt usually keeps them away. I'm not sure if he's hiding somewhere in my system here or not. I'll have to do a bit of searching later on and see what we can find. Our strawberries are coming along nicely. I have to make a hanging mechanism of some kind for these two baskets yet, so we can get them hung up. You can see there's lots of strawberries being produced, when you consider the size of our plant anyway. So we have 3 plants in each of these hanging baskets, and they're coming along nicely. We've got a couple strawberries forming there. Over on the other side here, I had a problem. I had an issue last year with the runners hanging down and not having any soil to get them started with. So I made these little basket holders, and now as the runners come out over the basket, I hook these on and give them a bit of dirt to make some roots in. From what I understand, they will not produce the roots until they touch a bit of dirt. So hopefully that's going to do the job. These guys are a bit dry now, so we're going to have to get some water on them. And from there, let's take a quick run over to the garden and see how the outdoor stuff is doing. Everything is looking good over here. Our potatoes are really doing well. I expect I'll be hilling those up in another week the way they're growing. Yesterday, I gave my potatoes a little bit of seaweed tea or kelp tea. Left over from last year, I've got a bucket of salt water with fish guts and a few capelin and kelp. And that's very smelly now, but it's full of nitrogen and is really good for the potatoes. Probably good for many of the other plants as well. I'm very pleased with the way they're coming up. I don't think I've got a gap anywhere in them. We've got every one of our plants. So that's excellent. The onions that we put in a couple days ago, they're taking quite well. I think I'm going to put a little bit of general purpose fertilizer on these to help them out. We don't have anything happening with our peas yet, though we really didn't expect to see anything happening yet. But the carrots, let's take a peek. Okay, so we can see that the carrots are just starting to germinate there now. The shells are dissolving on them. You see one coming up right there. Looks like a few of them moved around with the water. That's okay. So we're going to keep that cardboard on for another day or two. And then we're going to take it off and have a much closer look and see how things are doing. Yeah, I can see some very tiny sprouts coming out of those. Just look at this guy over right here. Okay, there we are, look. So the carrots have started. See another one there with a little bit of a stem coming out of it. So they're germinating. They'll be along over the next few days. Cover them up, and I'm going to soak them down again now before I leave them. We've got a bit of sun today. I don't want anything drying up now. They're well underway. We did have rain last night, so everything else got watered nicely. There we go. Back to the greenhouse. We got our fans turned back on now. I'm shut down for our recording. And not hardly warm enough yet for the shutters to open. I think that's it for the day. So until next time, we'll see you later. Here in the greenhouse.